Hi Year 6, I hope you are having a lovely Easter break. We are just going to be having a little look at percentages of amounts. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a starter. We have got 100% of 11, 100% of 100 thousandths, 100% of 425 and 100% of 225ths. So we know that 100% of 11 is 11. 100% of 10 thousandths is 10 thousandths. 100% of 425 is 425. And 100% of 225ths is 225ths. So if you have a little look at our 100 square, what percentage of the 100 square is shaded? And can you write that percentage as a fraction? So we should have 61% because 61 of the squares are shaded in yellow. And that shows that it is 61 hundredths. Now, if we look at 100%, 100% is everything, the whole number, 100 hundredths, everything and all of that number. So if we have a little look at our bar, we can split our 100% dividing into 2, and that is going to be 50%, a half. So if we were trying to find 50% of 120, what we need to do is to divide it by 2, split it in half, because 50% is the same, equivalent to a half. So if we were going to half 120, 120 divided by 2, that would be 60. So we know that 50% of 120 is 60. So to find 50% of a number, what do I need to divide it by? I need to divide it by 2. So using our bar model, how could we find 25% of 120? And we know that 25% is 25 hundredths. So if we divide 25 by 25 and 100 by 25, our equivalent fraction is a quarter. So we can split our bar model into 4. Now because we've split our bar model into 4 and our bar is worth 120, we know that if we divide 120 by 4, that would be 30. So to find 25%, we would divide the number by 4, and 120 divided by 4 is 30. So to find 25% of a number, I need to divide that number by 4. Right, if you have a look at this bar model that is representing 100%, what percent would be shaded? Is right, it is 10% because 100% divided into 10 is 10% or 1/10. So to find 10% of a number, I need to divide that number by 10. So if my bar represents 120, to find 10% of that 120, I need to divide it by 10. So 120 divided by 10 is 12. Okay, so we are going to moving on to find 1%. So to find 1% of 200, this whole is worth 200. 200 dividing it by 100 is 2. So to find 1% of an amount, we must divide it by 100. And we know that if we divide 200 by 100, we get 2. So find 1% of 4,000, and we know that we've got to divide our number by 100 to find a percent, to find 1%. So this whole is worth 4,000, and we know that 4,000 dividing it by 100 would be 40. So 1% of 4,000 is 40. And when you're dividing by 10 and 100, you can use a place value chart, or you can draw one yourself and move those digits to help you. So we're going to have a little look at a question now. Annie needs to make 1,270 cupcakes for a party. In the morning, she makes 50% of those cupcakes. And in the afternoon, Annie makes another 10% of her target amount of cupcakes. How many more cupcakes does she need to make? So the first thing that we need to do is find 50% of 1,270, because that's how many cupcakes she makes. Then she makes another 10% of her target amount. So 10% of 1,270. So to find 50%, we need to divide 1,270 divided by 2. And then to find 10%, we need to divide 1,270 divided by 10. Now it says how many more cupcakes does she need to make? So we need to get that number and do what with it? So we found 50%, which is 635. And we found 10%, which is 127. And then we need to add those together, which is 762. And then take that number away from her target amount. So it's 1,270 take away 762, which is 508. Well done, Year 6. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the Easter holidays. Goodbye, Year 6.